Thanks for listening to Uncle Sam's Soccer Podcast, keeping you up to date with the latest in American soccer. And don't forget to subscribe.
Everyone, welcome to Uncle Sam's Soccer Podcast. It is the normal gang here, Steven Jodarand, Arman Kafai, and Jake Watroba. And on today's episode, we're talking MLS Decision Day. Now, listeners, if you haven't done so, hit that subscribe button, leave us a 5-star review, and follow us at Uncle Sam's Soccer Pod. Send in your thoughts and your comments. We've been getting them in all weekend long, so just hit us up. Listeners, check out our episode discussing Jurgen Klinsmann's thoughts on the U.S. men's national team. And come back tomorrow, we'll talk about what Greg Berhalter had to say about developing players. Jake, Arman, I'm suffering a head cold. We are recording in the middle of baseball playoffs, and Jake's team there is dropping big ones.
You're suffering from a head cold, and I'm suffering from a broken heart.
Ooh.
A sports broken heart, that is.
Yeah, considering that you just celebrated your 5-year anniversary.
Yeah, I'm witnessing the Twins' 16th consecutive postseason loss. So it's fun. It's fun over here. Loser Town, USA. Dak looked yesterday, Arman.
Yeah.
They had it playing during Lucci's post-game press conference. I just it wasn't fun to watch. I was sitting there, trying to pay attention to Lucci, and I look and I'd see Dak throw a pick, and I'd be like, wow, this sucks. Like, I can't ask you a question anymore, Lucci. Like, I'm out. Like, my brain is somewhere else. I'm watching my Cowboys get spanked again by the freaking Packers. So, yeah, Loser Town, USA. I'm here with you.
Yeah, well, Dallas is fair-weathered fans, USA. God, our Dallas fans annoying. Anyway, let's get to it, guys. MLS Decision
FC Dallas
Day.
fans are annoying?
Well, no. Dallas Cowboys fans. Dallas
All
Cowboy
five?
fans are the worst. Fundamentally, the worst type of fan there is in this country. Cowboys fans, all you hear from Cowboys fans is we're going to win the Super Bowl. And the moment they drop 3 or 4 games, they're out. They don't even care. They're no longer Cowboys fans. It's like they forget that football even exists.
So, listeners, today we're going to be talking about Decision Day. We're not jumping to playoff matchups just yet. We're taking a week off from the playoffs like MLS is the international break. So don't worry. Next week we'll be talking all about the playoffs. But Decision Day was really interesting this year, but not really in the Eastern Conference. The 7 teams booked their place to Eastern Conference playoffs last week. We saw the Revolution clinch the final spot. Seeding was still up in the air. But in the West, a much different story with the 6 and 7 spots up for grabs in the Western Conference. We saw Portland and San Jose play a win or go home game between the two sides. And we saw Dallas with a chance to book their spot in the playoffs as well. And somehow Colorado was still in the mix after their terrible start to the season. The horrible performances from the bottom 3 in the West playoff picture really screwed things up. Jake, can you just take us through some Decision Day storylines and what really went down on Decision Day?
Well, Arman, in typical LA Galaxy fashion, they dropped points on the final game of the season to the Houston Dynamo, losing 4-2, and are now forced to travel to Minnesota to take on the Loons in the opening round of the MLS Cup playoffs.
More heartbreak for Jake?
You can bet on it, Stephen. You can bet on it.
Just the Minnesota way, right? You got the Patriot way, now you got the Minnesota way. Lose in the playoffs.
Right. All we do is lose. Oh, I hate our team so much. But guys, Carlos Vela breaks the MLS goal scoring record with a hat trick in a 3-1 victory over Colorado. Vela did it in fashion with a bicycle kick, but Steven, you weren't very impressed.
Oh, come on. I mean, it's a bicycle kick, but it's not a Gareth Bale, Cristiano Ronaldo, or Wayne Rooney type bike, okay? It's just a softer type bike. Like, you got to rank bicycle kicks. Carlos Vela was on the bottom end of that spectrum.
You are a hard man to impress. Portland, they punched their ticket to the MLS Cup playoffs, defeating San Jose 3-1. FC Dallas destroys SKC 6-0. They were having a lot of fun with that game on ESPN's Whip Around show on Sunday afternoon. Somehow, someway, DC United cannot find a goal to defeat 9-man FC Cincinnati and draw 0-0 and lose out on a home playoff match at Audi Field. New York Red Bull.
Can I interrupt you there, Jake?
Go ahead.
On a scale of 0 to 10, 10 being the most impressed, with FC Cincinnati's season, how impressed were you that they were able to make it this bad?
Ooh, I'm at like a no, because they're not the worst in MLS history. So I go 8. I go 8.
I mean, they're the worst. Are they the worst defensive team in the league, or was that Orlando City last year?
No, they broke the record, baby.
That's FC Cincinnati. It's FC Cincinnati.
Every expansion team, I think, the last 3 years has broken the record for most goals allowed. Well, I guess
get ready, Nashville. Get ready, Miami.
That's not true. Orlando City beat Minnesota United's record last year. And Minnesota. Well, okay. I thought you meant in the expansion year. Anyway, let's move on here. FC Cincinnati, terrible. I'm amazed they were that bad. Red Bulls, they got hammered by Impact 3-0. And Philly, once again, lose to NYCFC. Atlanta wins. They beat the Revolution, giving the Five Stripes the 2 seed in the Eastern Conference. And now, guys, this gets us to our question of the day. And listeners, you can chime in too at UncSam Soccer Pod. Was Decision Day a good day for MLS?
It was mixed. This is my recommendation for MLS Decision Day. Can we make the matchups the same every year? I would love to see the Galaxy have to play Houston every year, because it becomes a joke now, right? 2 straight years they lose to Houston on the final day with playoff implications on the line, and Houston's on the outside looking in. But wouldn't it be cool that you have some sort of consistency with the schedule, so you know Galaxy Houston final day, final game of the year? Minnesota, whoever they played, the Ravs have to go to Atlanta, whatever it may be. But then you create a little bit more of a natural rivalry.
It'd be really cool to see the Fire play Orlando City on the last game of the season.
It'd be awesome.
Single.
So Jake, let me ask you this. I saw it as on a meme on Reddit. Did the Whip Around show ignore that game? There were 7 goals in that game.
I had the Whip Around show on my laptop, and I had Seattle, Minnesota on the big screen. And I don't recall ever seeing Orlando, Chicago coming up. Matter of fact, I'm not even sure I recall RSL Vancouver coming up on the laptop. Maybe I'm wrong, but yeah. And I don't blame them for not showing it. It had no playoff implications whatsoever.
Hey, but goals. I want to see goals. A show like that is about goals.
There's no drama.
Who cares? I want to see the goal. I want to see. What if the spectacular happens? What if somebody has a bike from 50 yards out? I want to see that.
Where was it 6 weeks ago when both teams were alive?
Fair enough. But I don't know. It sounds, Jake, that you were rather disappointed with Decision Day.
I mean, it was okay. I feel like they really hype it up, like, oh yeah. And you're thinking it's like they almost make it out to be like the Manchester City Man United final day of the Premier League season 6, 7, 8 years ago, whenever that was, where they, essentially right, the Aguero, the Balotelli goal, how that all, that whole thing, that last 5 minutes of the QPR Man City match completely changed the title race in the Premier League. I feel like MLS makes it out to be like that, like, oh, who's in, who's out? Like, all these games really are deciding. You have all these like essentially these play-in games, and that doesn't always seem to be the case.
Well, there were no play-in games in the Eastern Conference. None.
You had one this year with the Portland San Jose match, and Portland really only needed a draw to kind of secure their fate. And to me, I would have preferred if ESPN would have made the Whip Around show or played it actually on ESPN. and kind of made the primary focus Portland, San Jose, but they would cut out constantly to show you what was going on around the league and the games that mattered.
What FS1, but you were at the LAFC game when Minnesota played. FS1 did that last week, and after like every goal, like they would jump, oh boom, goal alert, goal in RSO, whoever they're playing that week. But
go to the split screen or go to the dual screen or whatever every now and then. And be like, oh, now let's go out to this match because this happened.
We want to see goals.
It's like the Premier League and I guess Championship Sunday. Sometimes it's like you're on the edge of your seats and you're like, oh, what's going on? And sometimes you're like 2 years ago, it's like, I mean, there was like maybe like one relegation battle going on, but I think that was already even decided then. It was okay. It wasn't anything amazing. I was excited, and nothing really amazing really happened.
Arman, you were obviously at the FC Dallas game, but was there an anticipation from the front office, from the players, from the coaches? Was there nerves? Was there excitement? Or was it just, okay, we're in the playoffs, we live for another day?
So I think Dallas is you're taking it the latter when you say they're gonna live for another day. There was excitement, but there wasn't like there were some celebrations I saw where people were like, oh yeah, like celebrating like really wildly. I think Minnesota, but that's different because Minnesota's the first time they ever made the playoffs. But Dallas, not really. It's just kind of like, oh, we made the playoffs. We gotta go play Seattle in a couple of weeks, and Seattle's gonna be tough.
One and done, right? Some fans could have thought that being the bottom seed. Well, it's the same with the Revs, right? Okay, cool. We made the playoffs. You get to play the playoff game, but do you really realistically think that you have a shot? Probably not. Listeners, chime in. Question of the day. Was Decision Day a good day for MLS? Want to hear it at Unc Sam Soccer Pod. We all have questions here to answer. And Arman, for you, Toronto FC seemed to fly under the radar for almost the entire season. And I have to admit, I wrote off TFC midway through. Here's my apology letter. I was wrong about TFC. Congratulations. Okay, moving on. They ride into the playoff on a 10-match unbeaten streak in MLS. This has to be probably the biggest dark horse in the Eastern Conference. And I know we don't want to do a playoff preview, but focusing on the 10-match unbeaten streak is important. And it seems like they're an easy candidate to be the dark horse in the Eastern Conference and maybe even all of MLS.
So I think we're evolving, especially with the new playoff structure, with the 7 teams, that now we're going to look at maybe the 5 and 4 seeds as the ones that are going to be the ones that are going to ride on momentum to move up. I think Toronto is a team that people should be worried about because it's not like they don't have good pieces. Look at the pieces around them. Like Alejandro Pozuelo, Michael Bradley, Josie Alto, who is injured right now. You could go through a list. Jonathan Osorio. I mean, you could go through a list of players that they have. Omar Gonzalez. All these players that they have, it's not like they have any bums. Like, they have really good players and a really good team. And they're kind of hitting that sweet spot where they're kind of hot. They host a playoff game. And then they might have to they probably have to go to New York City and play New York City. And those matchups are always fun to watch. I personally would be worried about Toronto FC, especially looking at DC. I mean, DC, they like playing bunker ball, and that's why they didn't know what to do when they're up by 2 men. They were confused. They're like, wow, how do we, aren't we the ones that are usually supposed to be defending? This is weird. I don't know what to do. I think they can get past DC, and I think they are a team that, teams in the Eastern Conference should worry about, especially in NYC, especially in Atlanta. They're spooky. I think that's the right word, Jake.
Now, Arman, doesn't for NYCFC and LAFC, don't they go something like 18 days between games? Between the last game of the MLS season and when they'll play in the MLS Cup playoffs?
That is awful.
Doesn't that almost put them at a disadvantage, you would say?
I don't think for LAFC it will. But for NYCFC, it will allow them to get healthy. I feel like the coaches know how to manage it because I think for LAFC, there's a lot of things that could happen. They could get Diamande back. Obviously, we don't know his status with the substance abuse program. For NYCFC, they get Abair to be 100% and get Keaton Parks healthy. All these players they're out. But I will say this. I think I don't know if it's that much disadvantage for LAFC as it is for NYCFC, because NYCFC don't even know where they're gonna play in like those 18. They don't know where they're gonna play.
Arman, let me pause you here with Toronto FC for a moment. In their 10-game unbeaten streak, they did not beat a single playoff team, East or West. In fact, they lost Montreal Impact in the Canadian Championship. They drew LAFC 1-1. That's a decent result. But NYCFC 1-1. The Revs 1-1. I mean, they have not beaten a single playoff team. In fact, their last loss in MLS was to Red Bulls 2-0. After that, the teams they beat: FC Cincinnati, Colorado, Columbus. I mean, yeah, they could be a spooky team. They have the talent, right? They have the experience to do so. But this 10-game unbeaten streak is a little fraudulent. You don't beat a playoff team. What's that say about you?
Hey, let's put some respect on Colorado's name.
Yeah, please.
Okay.
That's disrespectful.
Okay.
We don't. The best. Colorado is a team we stand on Uncle Sam's Soccer Podcast. But no, I mean it's a rightful thing to keep in mind. However, I just think forget all that. It's a new season. The playoffs are a new season. There's a 12-day break in between, or whatever, how long many days break, 2-week break in between matches. Look, it's a new season. Like, forget about what happened there. Like, you're coming into this thing fresh. The 10 match unbeaten streak helped them get to a point where they're hosting their first playoff game. I think on a scale of talent, with experience, with Greg Vanney, who's coached in big matches, the experience of the team, with the players that they have, like I previously mentioned, that have that collective experience in big matches, I still think they're a team to be worried about.
Don't they have something to prove
season.
too?
Yeah,
just to say that
after, yep.
they're not frauds.
Yep, I agree. I think they're spooky. I think they're the spookiest team in the playoffs.
The spookiest team in the playoffs. Well, let's move it on here. And Steven, I want to ask you this. This is a team we kind of pegged as spooky about 2 months ago when they went on their unbeaten run.
Yep.
The New England Revolution. They find a way to get into the playoffs. And what I want to ask you is, how important was it for Arena to get the Revs into the playoffs?
Oh, this is massive. It re-energized the fan base. It puts trust into what Bruce Arena wants to do with the New England Revolution. Look, Bruce Arena probably walked in there going like, I really don't know what we're going to do with the New England Revolution this season. At one point, they were last in the Eastern Conference. At one point, they were 2 wins, 8 losses, something ridiculous like that. They managed to get to the playoffs. It's a success. The fans are happy. The media up there is talking about the New England Revolution. What this does, and the reason why it's so important that New England Revolution are in the playoffs, is for this upcoming offseason. Because you should bet $1 million that Bruce Arena is going to go and make additions to the squad. That he's going to force the Crafts to spend even more money to bring additions and hopefully get Gustavo Bo a partner that could absolute torch some of these MLSs.
Sorry to interrupt you, Steven, but I have a spooky take as well. Another spooky take. The Revs, in my opinion, are the second most spooky team in the MLS playoffs. I would be worried when going up against Bruce Arena.
That's fair.
Phenomenal.
That's fair. What he's done is phenomenal. And listeners, I know this is not supposed to be an MLS playoff preview show, so Armand, we're gonna have to hold on to that thought for next week when we do discuss more about the playoffs. But Jake, Armand, let me ask you this. Arena going to the Revs was a good move, but did we think they would get to the playoffs?
No. I saw the Revs play back in March. I think it was March. Maybe it was even early April. In the game against Minnesota United. And yes, they did beat Minnesota United, but there was nothing about the Revs that was impressive. They looked like a team lost in the woods under Brad Friedel. Wasn't entirely sure how much talent was really there at the club. And I got to hand it to Arena. He did a hell of a job in getting this team turned around.
Alrighty, well, Jake, let me ask you this now. Question for you. Minnesota United. Did they meet expectations by making the playoffs for the first time in club history.
Yes, of course they did. Of course they met expectations. It wasn't like they were one of these teams on the final day of the regular season fighting for their playoff lives. They were in. They were in yesterday, Sunday, and they were fighting for seeding. I mean, a big talking point for Minnesota United heading into the season was, did Manny Lagos do enough to shore up the team's defending? It's been well written that the club's first 2 seasons, United allowed 70 and 71 goals respectively, 2 of the worst defensive seasons for an MLS team. And this year, with all the acquisitions of guys like MLS veterans Ike Opara and Ozzy Alonso, as well as bringing in guys like Jan Gregush from FC Copenhagen and goalkeeper Vito Manone on loan from Reading, Minnesota United allowed 43 goals and made Allianz Field a fortress as the Loons went 10-1-6 at home. Lagos and company delivered on their promise of a 3-year plan and have set up the Loons to be one of the more formidable teams in the Western Conference. They have a good spine up the middle with Opara, Boxall, Manone, Grey Goose, Alonso. They've met expectations. They have depth. Like I said, they didn't sneak into the playoffs. They're going to be hosting a playoff game. That's
How excited are you for that? Some MLS playoffs coming to Minnesota.
You know, I don't even know. I mean, I'm excited, but they're probably gonna lose. Typical Minnesota fashion. So
Heartbreak 2.0.
I was texting you earlier. I'm probably gonna watch Zlatan dunk on Ike Opara twice or something with 2 goals, and watch Christian Pavone carve up the midfield, and it's not gonna be fun.
No, not at all. Alrighty, boys. Let's talk about LAFC because they broke multiple records in MLS. It's a plus 48 goal differential, is best ever, and the team scored 85 goals, equaling an MLS record. Vela got a second hat-trick this season, broke the individual single-season mark with 34 goals. And LAFC also claimed the most points in a single season. The top 5 teams in MLS history with the most points goes like this. LAFC was 72. New York Red Bulls was 71, which was set in 2018. Atlanta was 69, again set in 2018. Toronto FC was 69, set in 2017. And then you got to go back to 1998, where the Galaxy had 68 points. Fellas, simple question here. Is LAFC the best team in MLS history?
Well, I'm ripping you off, Steven, but win the cup, baby. That's what you got to do. Look, we always talk about how no one cares about the Supporters' Shield winner. It's because no one cares about the Supporters' Shield winner. Should it be that way? I don't think so, personally. Look, a 34-game body of work versus 4 games. Like, come on. But it is what it is. That's what MLS perceived. So take home the cup. I want you to win those 4 games. Win those 4 games. Go 4, or I guess 3 games for them. Win those 3 games, and then we're talking. But no. But dynamically, from style, from play, I think they are. I think they're the most aesthetically beautiful team to watch.
Pleasing team.
Beautiful team. Beautiful in terms of the way they play, the way they go through Vela, the way they always want to play attacking football, how they don't change their style wherever they play, how they want to enforce how they play everywhere they go. It's a joy to watch. I think aesthetically, yes. But overall, let's win the cup, baby. Win the cup.
Yeah, I agree. Interestingly, some people, quote, 3 games in October shouldn't define a club season, end quote. Wonder who would say things like that.
Hi, guys.
What are you smoking, bro? What's the point? What's the point of MLS Cup then? The playoffs. What's even the point of playing them? No, on one hand, you're basically arguing.
But what's the point of playing 34 games if 3 games are going to just decide if we had a good season or not? What was the point of the 34 games prior?
I don't know, for some sort of qualification purpose. to make money.
Look, Arman said it. They are the most aesthetically pleasing team to watch, probably ever in this league's history. Most points ever by a team in the league's history. We're going into a one-off knockout tournament, in the MLS Cup playoffs. Fluky things can happen. Arman, we sat here a couple weeks ago and talked about how fluky Minnesota United's 2-0 win at Bank of California Stadium was. Did we not? Did we not talk about that?
Yeah.
So does that mean Minnesota United is the better team than LAFC because they
For
beat
that
them?
night, yes. Those 90 minutes, yes, they were.
Not in the standings, though.
All I'm trying to say is,
Jake.
a fluky thing. If RSL goes
a helmet
in
catch
somehow
is a fluky thing. Wipes off one of the best seasons in NFL
The
history.
New England Patriots that team is the best team ever. I don't want to hear
Nope.
anybody tell you
Nope.
otherwise.
Nope.
I don't want to
Nope.
hear anybody
Nope.
tell me
Nope.
the Golden
Jake,
State Warriors
Jake,
are not better
would
than
you-
the 96 Bulls, because they are!
Jake, would you not take the championship? Would you not rather have an 18-1 season where you win the Super Bowl than an 18-1 season where you lose the Super Bowl? Don't tell me
Yes, but
Carlos
you're missing
Vela
the
would
point
sit
of what I'm
here.
saying, though.
Don't tell
You're
me
missing
Carlos
the
Vela
point.
would sit here and go, look, I definitely would trade 72 points for 65 points, not have the most points in a single season as a club for MLS Cup. That adds way more to his reputation, to his legacy, than some stupid MLS record. I don't
missing the
care
point.
what they look like. The best team in MLS has to go on to lift the trophy. New York Red Bulls set the record last year with one fewer point than LAFC. One fewer point. They had 71 points. Does anyone remember that? Does anyone even freaking care? No. You know why? Because Atlanta went on to lift the cup. So, screw your points and screw your magnificent play. If you don't win the cup, it ain't gonna matter.
Fluky. I ain't here to say. I'm just saying that if you do it over the course of an entire season and one fluky result means you like that just determines whether or not you're great or not. I can't buy it. I can't buy into that. It's
Listeners,
one
at
fluky result.
Sam Soccer Pod, at Jake Watroba, at Steven Jodrin. Fellas, final point here. LA Galaxy, another massive talking point on the show, dropped the final two games of the season, losing to Vancouver in thrilling fashion, 4-3. Then this past Sunday, in typical fashion, losing to Houston, 4-2. Is there concern for the Galaxy?
No, there is no concern for the Galaxy. Look, like I mentioned previously, it's a new season, baby. I think the Galaxy know that they're talent-wise the second best team, I would say, in the Western Conference. I'm not sure in MLS where I'd rank them, but the Galaxy know they're a hot team. Look, they can figure out their mistakes over the international break and talk it out and hope their defense will be absolute garbage like they have been last. But I think the Galaxy, that going into that match against Minnesota, I feel like they're the favorites, even though Minnesota has the home field advantage. I don't think the Galaxy should be concerned, but it did feel like they turned off the switch a little bit. It did feel like they kind of just like, whatever. We'll see what happens. We're in the playoffs. Who cares? To a degree, they're right. Who cares? They are in the playoffs. But, again, it's nothing new. It's nothing that we've seen that's new. We've talked about their defense being bad since, week 6. They're terrible. Their defense is so bad. And it's not a surprise when their defense gives up horrible goals like it did against Houston, like they did against Vancouver. I think they know, talent-wise, they have the second-best player in MLS in Zlatan Ibrahimovic. They know they got Christian Pavone. They get more time with him to acclimate with the Galaxy team. I don't think there's anything they should be worried about. There shouldn't be any concern. I think there should be excitement because it's going to be really fun to see how they match up in the playoffs.
Jake, do you have concern?
Yes and no.
Okay.
The defense is a concern,
Yeah.
but I think this team is only going to go as far as Christian Pavone Zlatan Ibrahimovic and Dos Santos take them.
Yeah, you're right.
That's it. They're not. I don't look at the Galaxy as a collective unit. I look at them as three superstars that are going to determine the fate of this club.
What's really interesting is obviously them dropping 2 games, the final 2 games. You would think, oh no, momentum. What's going on with the Galaxy? But guys, over the course of the season, they have played 12 times against MLS Western Conference playoff teams. 12 times. You guys don't know this number because I kept it off the Google Doc. Do you know how many wins they have in these 12 games against other Western Conference playoff teams in the course of the entire season?
I'm going to go with 10.
How many wins do they have against 12 or in 12 games against playoff teams in the Western Conference?
Yes.
10
because they lost. They lost. It is, but they lost to FC Dallas in the.
I need a number, Jake.
Year,
give me a number.
Gone.
Give me a number. Give me a number. Let's go.
8.
Okay. Hey, guys are a little high. 7 wins, 2 losses, 3 draws. When they win,
you hype up a stat like that. I was expecting like a 10 or something.
Well, I
or like a 9.
What?
Like,
no,
yeah,
but
why
this
didn't
is
you hit us with the RSL stat. Why didn't you hit us with the RSL stat I dropped on you guys earlier today? that one's a little bit more extreme than 7 wins.
All right, hold on to that RSL stat. But 7 wins, 2 losses, 3 draw. Here's what's really interesting: is the Galaxy love to score. When they win, they love to score even more. 16 goals scored, 7 goals allowed. When they lose, goals come in. 2 losses. Scorelines 4-0 and 4-3. 3 goals scored, 8 goals allowed. And even when they draw, in 3 draws, 5 goals scored and 5 goals allowed. They've been pretty much every team in the Western Conference playoffs. This is a good record. The Galaxy play up to their competition. That's critical. And these final 2 games, who cares? As Arman said, they have the talent to do it.
Well, Steven, you're going to have to wait for that RSL stat next week when we do our MLS Cup Playoffs preview show. So
Boo.
Listeners, be on the lookout for that. But Arman, it's time for your 2 stars and 1 catfish.
It's time. It is time. Guys, who do you think's the first star? Come on, just tell me.
Carlos Vela.
Has to be breaking the goal scoring record in an amazing fashion. Steven, I don't care what you say about that scissor kick. Hate it. It was cool.
It's still like an 8 on a 10 scale, but when you measure magnificent goals, it's like a 4 or 5.
It was cool.
It was cool, sure.
For a record-breaking goal, it was cool. It wasn't like a little tap-in.
It was cool,
like
yes, I give you that. But it wasn't anything spectacular like a Gareth Bale bike.
All right. You know what Steven wants to see, Jake? Tom Brady bike. Oh, that would be something else.
You know what? Arman wants to see a Dallas Cowboys playoff win.
Hey!
We saw it last year. We saw it last year. They won last year.
Losses. Back off.
How about a Minnesota Twin playoff game? Wouldn't that be nice?
This is a no bully zone, all right?
No bully zone. My star number 2 goes to FC Dallas's forward Zdeněk Ondráček, who scored 2 goals in his last game. And according to Opta Joe, our good friend at Opta, is 3rd in goals involved since he started his first game his second game on August 18th. Behind, in goal involvement, Carlos Vela and Zlatan Ibrahimovic. The Cobra is striking, and he's striking with plenty of goals.
Forgive me if this is a very stupid question, but why wasn't he playing earlier in the season?
It had something to do with Lucci thinking he was in a good fitness system, wasn't fitting the press, wasn't fitting more of a target man than the guy who's versatile. But he's kind of gave Lucci the middle finger. It's like, yo, look, I can play. And he got his first ever call up to the Czech Republic national team after playing in MLS. So there you go. What a year for the Cobra. He strikes. And guys, the catfish, it has to be the Galaxy.
2 weeks in a row.
It has to be the Galaxy. It's embarrassing. How did you lose to the Dynamo? Like, okay, cool. You're probably gonna go make it to El Tráfico. But I said Dynamo. I was gonna say the Loons because, if the Loons had won or at least drawn, I would be going up to Minnesota to watch them play FC Dallas. But joke's on me because the Loons, when I want them to play well, they never play well. I want them to play bad, they always play great. So shout out Adrian Heath, manager of the year. Just kidding.
Nah.
I vote for manager of the year. It's a joke.
Nah,
Brad
Ethan
Friedel,
Finley.
manager of the year.
Ethan Finley should have been your catfish of the year for missing a one-on-one attempt against Stephen Fry. Beat him, hits the post. Unbelievable. That would have punched your ticket to Minnesota, Arman, had he buried that goal.
Listeners at Uncle Sam's Soccer Pod, plenty from Decision Day chat here. We want to hear all your thoughts. Reminder, question of the day: was Decision Day good for MLS? Hit us up. Hit up Jake at Jake Watroba, Arman Kafai at Arman Kafai, myself at Steven Joderand. We'll be back tomorrow. You'll get some more U.S. men's national team chat with Greg Berhalter. Until next time.